etc. So I was kind of impressed, although there's a bit of overlap here and there. I think there's still some issues that need to be solved. Fair, I haven't used it, but also care. So this new word that I learned, that if we think about the ethical issues, for instance, then it should not only be about findable and accessible, but also about our responsible use of the data. Which brings me to my last reflection, which is more of a question: what is your wish list, and what should we think about when we think about AI in audiovisual archives? Thank you so much. And I have also been asked to be my own moderator, so there's still time, right?
Yeah.
How much time do we? She grants us 10 minutes. So please, if you have a question or an objection or something that can help me to reflect further on this. In the back.
So much for that talk. So I guess my question is about the sustainability, the environmental sustainability issue. And in those roads that lead nowhere, is it not sort of magnified, the problem? Because it's using a vast amounts of computational, resources to effectively serve an audience that doesn't exist.
That's a very, very good point. I should have brought it up as well. I think that is a big worry, right? So I'm also very active in the domain of archives. And there's always the question, how much do you want to keep? And then immediately there's the question, at what cost? And environmental costs are huge. So I think this is indeed something maybe we should develop guidelines of protocol where it's not just at the end of the list, what's usually the case, right? In the end, we have the ethical and the climate, but maybe also further up on the line. So I have no answer to this, but I think a policy should be really there. And for instance, we have a data server in Amsterdam. I don't think they want to have a second one. Where should this then be built? At what costs? Yeah. Thank you.
I always have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I always have a question, especially related to the AI datasets. You need the quality of the data input to your model. However, you need a collaboration between other entities to have more datasets so that your model is learning more. How to balance between these two, making sure that it's a quality input, and the other thing is that making sure that you collaborate with others.
So that means that the question is how to balance
between the quality of the data to your model and between the collaboration of other organizations, because you want to ensure the quality, but as well you cannot review every data set that is inputting to your model.
Yeah.
And you cannot really build a model without any collaboration or using any other data set. So how to balance the quality of the data input to your model?
That's a very good question. Is anyone here? Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know how to balance. Does anyone know? Johan wants to do a try.
I know that this might work. What a fantastic question. I think there's this the large language model that Suzanne showed that OpenAI developed. It's a very general purpose model, and similar to Sora or others. But the example with the video is a very, very specific. So I think that's part of the answer to your question. That what is the end purpose you're using it for? For a large language model, very general, that will basically scrape the web. But if you'd like to build a specific model, you also want to have specific data. And so in the Netherlands, they're building an open large language model for Dutch language. And this morning, I received an email that they found it very difficult to source the high enough quality because, as you said, you need collaborations. And as one of the solutions, they're going to be automatically translating different languages into Dutch for training the Dutch model, which is, you know, very exactly, yeah. So we are figuring this out as we go, and so you want to strike indeed this balance between giving away, but also, you know, you want to find out a little bit more about what is the intent of how of the model that is created. You don't want to have your archive trained on a model that can be used in surveillance, for instance. So I think the best answer that we can give is to you know, make to set the sort of guardrails about the you know, what you find ethically important in your collaboration. Yeah.
And also for small languages. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, people talk about whisper all the time because it's an open model by Meta. Yeah. And it's very good in supporting, you know, contemporary languages. But Audiovisual Archive, they have like older languages. And also we need to cater for dialects. So for this, we still need to build our own models. Yeah, but this has to be done in, you know, respect of each of ethical considerations. I'm going to sit down now.
Yeah, I know in Groningen, in where I live, the Groninger Archival, they work with automatic speech recognition based on dialect, and it comes from Barcelona. So I'm not sure if someone here. It was built by a company here from Barcelona. So. Yeah.
Sorry, I think it's Eurecat, which is a spin-off of the University Politécnica de Catalunya.
Okay. Yeah. One more question, but I'm here for 2 days, so thank you so much for your attention.
Gaan alle panelleden al zitten of doen we het per stuk? Oké, so panelists, please come to the stage.
Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. En jij gaat ook zitten, hoor.
Ja.
So we need one more chair. Jan, pas op, er staat nu een stoel achter je.
Yes. Zo klopt het, hè?
Ja, 6. I don't know.
Oh, this is the one that didn't work. So I'm, and we need more mic for on the stage.
Could you use a handheld mic, you?
Yeah.
Not?
Yeah, or we can share.
I would prefer to present.
That's totally fine. Yeah, so we still need one here. Yes.
One of those here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joan, right? This is your place. Yes. It's fine.
Is everybody keeping a cool head after? Thanks so much for that wonderful keynote, Suzanne. So we're moving on with the program, the first panel, AI in archival practice. And for those who already looked at the program, you will find that we managed to invite a number of really leading experts in the field. So we spoke a little bit about the order, and the first to speak is Valentine Charles. She's the Director of Data Services at the Europeana Foundation based in The Hague. And I look forward to your talk. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. So today the instructions that were given to me was to focus about AI in the context of data enrichment, data curation, which is one of the potential application of AI for the cultural heritage sector, and here we are talking about audiovisual archives. So before getting into the topic, I wanted to show you a little video. So this fantastic video is called A Nightingale and Canary Bird Sounds, visualized by Andy Thomas. So it's a visualization of bird sounds. Nice, huh? I will give you the link so that you can watch the whole thing. So I wanted to show you this video. So it's an AI rendering of the historic bird sound. So in fact, it's a canary that has been recorded in 1982 in the dunes of Kennemerland in the Netherlands. So really something that comes from the archive. I think it even comes from the Dutch Institute for Sound and Vision. So this is one of the examples also how you can use audiovisual archives to build beautiful things and inspiring things. But today, the topic for me was talking about AI in the context of data enrichment. First, because it's important to know what we are talking about, I wanted to bring a bit of definition in the context, and the definition of what is an AI system according to the EU AI Act. What you see in this definition is basically AI is about machine learning, but it's also about the data that you put as an input and the data that you want to obtain as an output. And if you look at it from this perspective, and if you look at the activities around data enrichment, data curation, it's really what we are always thinking about. You know, what are the data that I want to put into the system as an input, and what do I want to obtain as an output? So AI is not magic. It's really made by human hands, and it feeds on data set, and quite often the most imperfect ones. So what AI can do for cultural heritage? So today I wanted to give you a series of examples of applications that are happening at the moment in the context of the Europeana initiative and the data space. The first one is around metadata enrichment. We start with an issue. In Europeana.eu at the moment, there are thousands of records that do not have a description. They just have a title, which is quite limitative in terms of what you can do with the data, or even limits the possibility on how you can search this data. So in the context of the Europeana initiative work, the European Fashion Network Association, and Marco is there if you have much more question about what I'm going to present, worked on an approach using AI to try to address this issue. So the idea was to use data-to-text methods to try to generate out of structured metadata description for those items. So there were several approaches that were used in this context. The first one was to use a rule-based data-to-text, D2T system, to try to, out of those structured metadata that were already available, to generate a description. This has started to show good results. So what you obtain is indeed a description that is quite close to what you would expect from the semantics that were provided as an input. It's quite fluent as a description, it reads well, and it could be a starting point. However, the sentence structure is a bit always the same. It feels a bit clunky, and also it's very labor intensive to run such a process, and it's limited to English only. So the second step was to try another approach, this time using generative AI and more specifically ChatGPT. So here, in terms of results, what you get is a description that is much more fluent. It reads very well. It's quite complete. It's still quite accurate compared to what was provided as an input. The downside is, it's the low accuracy and also the budget implication, because this is not coming for free. Then the second approach was trying to take the two methods together. So run first the rule-based approach and add a bit of generative AI on top of it. The completeness is decent, but the accuracy is very low, and you start you can still see what was already the case for the previous case. You can observe those AI hallucination, which is when the system doesn't really know, so start create input on its own. The last approach that was tried was to combine with those two approaches something that is a bit more structured. So using, in this case, a controlled vocabulary, Wikidata, which would, in addition to the other system, bring a bit more structure, because Wikidata is it's a semantic model, so it's highly structured. And bringing this in the mix helps to still get a description that is quite fluent, that reads well, but that is very complete, and also that later could also be translated eventually. So what this example showed us in terms of application is that there is not one AI method that can help you to get a good result, but quite often it comes to try different approach, different system, and even combine them. And in this example, what we can see is the combination is a combination of machine learning approaches and also an approach that is maybe more human-based, because that comes from the Wikidata approach, which is a model that brings the semantics, but also it has been curated by humans behind. So in terms of applying AI in the context of, for the purpose of data enrichment and data curation, it's important to see those two aspects coming together, not only the machine learning, but also complementing it by something that quite often has been created by humans. The other example I wanted to show you today is a bit different in terms of problem space. Here, the issue is as such, and I think it's something that is also very core to the audiovisual archive. Cultural heritage institutions have been creating, describing collection and cataloging those collections since decades. But it's very rare that those catalog data are updated to reflect language, changes in language and changes in society. So what is happening now when we look at many collections is that the narratives that are conveyed through those metadata description are quite often showing outdated view of the world and the society. It sometimes ignore and alienate a wide range of people, and sometimes also use languages that is offensive, inappropriate, and sometimes harmful. So the idea was how to use AI to analyze data and detect those biases in the data. This is something, it's an activity that is currently undertaken by the DBias project, which is a data space supporting project that will end at the end of the year. So what is being done here? Sorry. Should be this one first. So what is being done here? Basically, metadata records from Europeana.eu corpus are being analyzed to detect biases using AI and a machine learning approach. and the model has been built on top of a vocabulary that has been curated by experts. This vocabulary gathered a collection of a bit more than 600 terms that have been identified by a community of users, but also experts representing different communities as potentially harmful terms. This vocabulary has been used to train AI machine, and then now it's being applied to data to try to identify those bias in the data. So how this will be used, the idea is not to change the metadata or to modify anything, but to add on top of those additional knowledge that can also inform the user about what is present in the data. So what we are learning at the moment, because this activity is very much ongoing, is that the approach works pretty well. Again, we have a mix of a machine learning driven approach and also human curation, because the vocabulary has been highly curated. But we also see some limitation. In terms of harmful language, quite often it relates also to cliché or stereotypes that are based on also the context around the data, and this is hard to detect. So on top of this automated approach, we continue to need expertise, validation from the expert to identify this context that sometimes make the whole metadata description potentially harmful. But this goes fast. So this is an example of how AI can be used by cultural heritage. I think what is important to think about as well is how cultural heritage can improve, can serve AI. If you think about all the data we collectively have, so not only the audiovisual archive, but also the museum, the libraries, it's a lot of data on many different aspects. And we should think about this data as being a way to influence positively those models that are being developed at the moment, and to reflect on the questions that was asked just before. It's also a way to also make sure that those models that are being built are not too generic, or maybe focusing on only an approach of or view of the world, and not representing some specific community, for example. So there is really a role for cultural heritage to be out there and feed those models, in the sense, because our role is to potentially influence them positively and achieve this balance of quality that was raised in the question. Of course, being bold in this case, for the sector to really take a position, we will face some challenges. So there were already some challenges raised in the presentation before. In terms of data curation, data enrichment using AI, there are again many things around technical challenges. I've mentioned this concept of hallucination, AI hallucination, which could be new knowledge that is created out of nowhere and is not true in a way, and this could potentially impact negatively the data. There are, of course, ethical challenges, legal challenges, and also skills challenge, in the sense that, as I have mentioned in my presentation, there is always a combination between technical processes and also processes that requires human validation, expertise in the field. So it's also how what are the type of skills people should deploy when doing this validation, and what are the different people in the sector that should work together running those kind of validation exercise. So where are we at the moment? What's next? So looking at this kind of area of focus, which is using AI for data curation, data enrichment, I think what is very important is to raise capacity. So really trying to bring the sector up to speed in terms of finding what is available out there in terms of AI technologies that can be used now out of the box by the sector. What are the data sets that are existing that can be used to train those models, and to apply those tools on. So at the moment, there is another project ongoing, and you will hear more about this tomorrow in detail. It's the AI for Culture project, which is looking at so there is a platform that has been built, and the idea is to collect not only tools, but also data sets that can be relevant for the cultural heritage sector. And also by doing this, you also build a capacity around this, so developing training resources, and also show how those different components need to be used together to get the best results. So there are those what is called recipes on how you can use tools in combination with specific data set, and what you need to do to really achieve the results you would like to get. So the platform has been now launched since September. So as you can see, the numbers are growing. So there are now already quite a lot of resources that are available. And I think now the focus is really to work with the sector and the professional to try to have the professionals starting to manipulate those different tools that are being made available, and through training and those recipes, quite to better understand how those different components used together, how it can really help you addressing the challenge that you would like to solve in your own context. So I think, yeah. So far about what we are learning. So again, this project is still very much ongoing. So in this context, it's really also about promoting open source software. So the idea is really to show that doing AI, it's not only the remit of those big organizations that we keep talking about. There is really room for more to be done, whether it's in terms of tools, but also data sets. So yeah, this is only an encouragement for you to also visit the platform, and also if you have tools or if you have already worked on small AI project in your organization, to also add your resources to the platform. So that was it for me, a little tour d'horizon on this topic, and maybe we can speak about more during the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the way that we're going to run this panel is each presenter gets 15 minutes, and then we have time for just one or two small questions related directly to the presentation. And then after, we have still some time to discuss within the panel a number of topics, and then open the floor to further comments. So any specific question to Valentine related to her talk? Okay.
Hi. Is a question?
And a question is a sentence ending with a question mark.
How do you deal about hallucinations? Like for me, it's the more challenging thing about the AI is, by it's important, but what is more difficult to work about AI is hallucination, because it seems that the machine needs to answer something, and if you don't know anything about the subject, then you get stuck about it. So how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I don't have a key answer for this. Indeed, it's a question. In the case of the experiments that I've presented, I'm not really sure how this was addressed. I know that there has been ideas about this done in different projects, which is really about identifying what is the prompt at the beginning. So how are you asking the question to the AI model? And I know that, I don't remember the name, but there are some models that are trained to not answer if they don't know. So the idea is to define the prompt and also maybe train the machine in this way that when the system doesn't know, that he answers, I just don't know, to avoid those hallucinations to come in the data at least. So you might not get the answer, but at least you get nothing, which is in some case better than one of those hallucinations. So yeah, so I know that there is a real problematic around this, and there are different trials that are being done at the moment, but going in this direction to make sure to train the machine to sometimes not say anything and to say it basically, so that you can also maybe understand where the gaps are and maybe retrain the machine to then get an answer that is the correct one. But yeah, maybe some other people have other ideas on this.
So we'll address it later in the panel. Virginia, are you going to? You want to come to this to the? We can also hand the remote to you.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next speaker is Virginia Bazan-Gil. She's head of RTVE Archives, and since October also the president of Fiat IFTA. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Johan. It's always nice to speak at the lunchtime, so I will do my best. Well, for those of you who might don't know RTV, we are the main public broadcaster here in Spain. We have 7 television channels, 6 radio stations, a website, rtve.es, RTV Play for video, and RNA for audio. And, oh, sorry. This is us, sorry. And this is our archive. This is our digital archive. It's 1.2 million hours of audio and 1.3 hours of video. No, the other way around. 1.2 for video and 1.3 for audio. We are this digital library is connected with the main business areas at RTVE. That means that we are connected to Dalet for radio production, to Avid for video production. We are also connected with the commercial department, accessibility, and of course with RTV Play, which is our OTT. So this is us, and well, since 2021, the RTV archive is working with artificial intelligence in production. We have a very straightforward, I will say, policy on or a strategy on artificial intelligence. It is focused on process improvement and specifically of enhancing content accessibility through automatic generation of metadata. This strategy has been implemented since 2021, as I said, through automatic metadata generation projects awarded to external providers. So we are now in the middle of our second AI project, and we are working with a spin-off of the University Politècnica of Catalunya, which is NOS. Implementation has been very useful because we have learned a lot. Mainly we have learned how AI fits into our workflows, which is very relevant, by the way, into the archive culture, and of course into the technological structure of the company. And we decided to work on a very transparent communication policy and to work with our teams through, we just started some training projects, and we are still there, like training and communicating all the time just to work with artificial intelligence. This is our interface, the interface we have developed with this AI provider. Our archivists work here, and they check they perform here the quality control, validate, and send the metadata to the RTV archive. So, sorry, I'm just confusing all the time with the devices. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, we are currently working with AI and production, and this is what we get from our AI provider. For audio and video analysis, we get, of course, automatic speech transcription for both for Spanish and also for Catalan, which is an official language here in Spain, together with Galician and Basque. So we are working with these two languages. We get keywords, entities, and content classification. Facial recognition, we have developed our own facial recognition models, for example, for local politicians here in Catalonia, or for our presenters and journalists at RTVE. Scene identification, object and logo recognition, and of course OCR. And for multimodal analysis, we use generative AI, of course, automatic summarization, semantic segmentation, and natural language scene description. This is in production, but we are currently collaborating with the University of Zaragoza. This is how everything started at RTVE in terms of artificial intelligence. This happened in 2017. We established this RTVE University of Zaragoza chair, and our areas slide. Yeah, thank you. So our areas of collaboration included benchmarking at the very beginning. We started benchmarking speech-to-text systems early in 2017. AI training for the archive and technical areas. They were involved from the beginning in this training because for us it was relevant to align the user expectations with the performance of the technology. Identifying and developing quality criteria for tenders. We ask them for help to define the metrics, to make the calculations, and to identify, the right metrics for quality control. Identifying, promoting research on speech technologies by creating a data set for Spanish. And this is also, since 2017, we have been increasing this RTVE database, which is a collection of Spanish audio and video recordings from RTVE. It includes TV shows broadcast from 2015 to the present, and the database is divided into partitions for training, development, and testing purposes. The main goal of this RTVE database was somehow to support research in speech recognition, speaker diarization, and multimodal diarization. And I said was because it was a very useful resource back in 2017, but now with large languages models and generative AI is becoming less and less relevant. But anyway, we will keep this data set, we will increase it, and we will deliver or give access to the researchers to this data set. And now I would like you to share our last proof of concept together with the University of Zaragoza, and I would like you to I will invite you to test it. So if you have a laptop, or maybe you can also use your own smartphone, and I will tell you about this proof of concept. As you all know here, traditional information retrieval systems are based on text or metadata. And these systems rely on human descriptions. This is what we do, media archivists. We describe the content, the audio and the video, or on AI-generated metadata. We have both at RTVE, but sometimes we don't have the resources, not AI, not human resources, to describe relevant content or relevant collections at the archive. So this brings a critical question: how do we represent video-only content with no metadata? Because I assume that many of you have this in your archives. So this is the question that we ask our colleagues at the University of Zaragoza, and this is what we got. Now I'm using my glasses, sorry, because I need to read this in order to make it work. So this is a vector representation of our film archive. And this vector representation assumes that the essential characteristics of each element, keywords for descriptions, or visual patterns for images, are represented by numbers or vectors. See? And you can see here all these frames with all these numbers and also the description with another numbers. Yes, these vectors are placed in a multidimensional space that represents the relationship between all elements. In this space, a machine learning model is responsible for making adjustments to ensure that vectors representing the same concept are close together. And here we have some women doing, working in a factory. We have the images, and we also have the description, woman working in a factory. And these vectors that are close in this, let's say, map. Okay. Why is this solution innovative? Because content retrieval is not based on a previous manual metadata process. That is, no person here, in this case, or algorithm, has previously described what enters in our system. It has been processed using a pre-trained model capable of vectorizing new images according to what it has learned. That's the innovative approach of this project that we are developing with the University of Zaragoza. So, these were the research questions. How can we explore our new silent film collections for production needs? How good is the performance of multimodal information retrieval? And if you want to join me in this demonstration, please just follow this, don't follow the link, but just put it on your devices. And can we? No? Is it possible to? Okay. I'm almost. No, thank you. Okay, so if you are there, you are more than welcome to just try and do some research queries in our system. I will recommend to use some of these topics, so you will find some results. Women in society, rural world, school, family and domestic life. Just try and have a look. Okay, I'm not sure if this is working, but hopefully you are. So I will tell you more. Okay, yes, that's it. So the interface is a very simple one. You can research in Spanish or English. If you use Spanish, it will automatically translate it into English because the performance of the system is better in English than in Spanish. But let's try something like... It doesn't matter. I mean, it's smart enough to add the G at the end. So here we have the main results for this query, and the idea is that we now choose those that are connected to our query. So we test the performance of the system. At the first first phase, we got very nice results. So what we are doing now is to increase the data set and to perform new queries just to be sure that this is really working. And we are using this for our film collection, which is no catalog at all. So I'm just reaching the end. Can we? Okay. Yeah, these are the results in phase 1, and we are in the middle of phase 2, so you are very welcome to contribute to this. And What about, here I was supposed to focus on our collaboration with the research with the university, and what we have learned from this collaboration is that that it is nice to work with researchers, because you work without the pressure of like a service provider or a company. So we have identified our archive goals and priorities without any pressure. We have defined relevant use cases as a way to reach short-term goals, and so the relevance of embracing artificial intelligence in the archive. We have been able to train archivists and adapt their expectations, which is quite relevant if you are planning to work with artificial intelligence. We are familiar with the latest development in technology, and last but not least, as a public archive, we need to support the public university and the public research. So that's all from me. I hope I make it.
Thank you. Any urgent questions to Virginia based on the substance of her talk? Yeah, a quick question.
Thank you very much. Just a question of clarification. You said train archivists and adapt their expectations to the real performance of the technology. That last part of the sentence, what does that mean for the archivists?
That means that artificial intelligence is not human intelligence. So the performance is not as good as they expected at the beginning. So they were expecting like beautiful transcriptions, beautiful entity recognition, content classification, and that's not the case. So they need to learn how it performs and just to calm. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So.
I have to add on to that. My question is, as an outside archival producer, somebody who uses footage in your archive, is there a step afterwards to correct the automatic transcription, like for names that are not typical Spanish names? Like I'm thinking of Coldo, that was in the example. I saw it was written down with a C. So then if you look for the Caso Coldo with a K, you won't find it, or you may not, you have to know that you have to also look for with C, or Caso Ronninkhoff. I searched for that, and Ronninkhoff, because it was a Dutch name, was spelled all kinds of ways, and so we had to really go and think how else could that name have been spelled in order to find everything on the case. So I'm just wondering if there's, after the automatic phase, does somebody go back and the people on staff go over and check that to unify the names? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But us as media archivists can misspell Baninkoff. I'm pretty sure that it is not only the machine, but yes, I saw you the interface for quality control and validation, and the idea is that every archivist which is responsible of the cataloging of a concrete show or documentary, this person checks the quality and correct this spelling, these typos, in order to make the they do, of course, yeah.
Thank you. Moving right along from Spain to France. Xavier Lemarchand, he's been working at DATA.INA for quite a number of years, and in his current position he is the director of AI integration at DATA.INA. The floor is yours. So now 5 people are setting the timer, which is really interesting.
Hello everyone, I'm glad to be here. And thank you for the invitation. My presentation is entitled Data.INA.FR, Media Content Analysis with AI, a Transparent and Educational Approach. So sorry in advance for my bad English. I need support, written support for my 2 hours conference. before focusing on the DATA.INA project, here are some background information on the main challenges for INA regarding AI. As a heritage institution, INA must address three main categories of use cases used by audiovisual professionals of our specific professional collection, meaning the collection for which we hold exploitation right, what we archive and have been archiving from public service broadcaster in blue. And second, research and academic usage on the legal deposit, audio and video collections. And third, editorialization of our own archive content for the digital sphere, website and social media and SVOD platform, because we became a kind of media ourselves, heritage media, but media on the digital sphere. So INA, for INA, the main stake with AI is to increase our capacity to describe audiovisual collection for all these uses. Without going into details, INA audio and video archive material amount about 30 million hours, which would equal broadcasting 3,400 years, 24/7. So descriptive information, just like you for RTVE, is a key challenge to enable guidance, discovery, analysis, and exploitation. So far, descriptive information come from external data import, cataloging, and content description. Yet, detailed description only applies to a minimal part of INA collection. Regarding legal deposit, 85% of records have neither keywords nor lead descriptive paragraph, no summary. And for professional collection, it's about 32% of records which have neither summary nor lead descriptive paragraph nor second description. So the objective of AI tools for INA is to increase our capacity to describe content with accuracy, itemization, and completeness. Here are the main descriptive AI tools we are interested in and working on. With speech-to-text, diarization, named entity extraction, speaker recognition, and etc. I won't go into detail today. This is not the object of my presentation. Let's just say that these AI tools have various maturity levels. Many are still at research and development stage. Some have reached an industrialization level, mainly speech-to-text. We are currently transcribing 2.5 million hours of the professional collection. We hold exploitation right for. And we have a rather empirical approach. Some tools are developed in-house, for instance, gender detection or program segmentation, when we think there are no reliable on-shelf solution, and others from various provenance are tested, integrated, and optimized in our information system. Another important point is that AI tools produce data that could not be available at scale if produced by humans. For instance, human transcription for 30 million hours would require 100,000 human years, whereas on our computing servers, we can automatically transcribe 1 hour of video in 2 seconds. It is about 6 hours for a human. So this is the main key point of AI in my point of view. So let's come to DATA.INA project. It's INA first massive application of AI. The website was launched in early October 2024. And the idea is that if AI technologies can improve content discoverability, they also offer unique opportunities to analyze media trends. And the ability to process very large amounts of data allows for graph and visualization charts that can objectify media trends analysis over wide time spans. So the project is based on media content analysis with the most mature AI we used, speech to text, whisper. As Joan said, whisper. And this is an external tool, but we integrated it in our information system and our computing servers. The second is a text tracer, which is a named entity extraction, meaning personality and location. And the third one, it's audio classification and gender recognition. It's an in-house tool named INA Speech Segmenter, developed by David Ducan, and it allows sound segmentation into silence, sound, music, speech, and for speech, detect speakers' gender. And the scope of this operation is 4 broadcast channels, or TV and radio channels. And for the current version of the service, the period covered extends from January 2019 to June 2024, which represent about 700,000 hours of media. And the next version of the service, next January, will include 4 more years going backward, and as well as 6 months update with incoming archived broadcasting flows, meaning 10 years in total. The general process is shown in this diagram. So we have first recording of broadcast content, then data generation powered by AI, data processing, and alignment with the INA standard system for named entities. Data validation, I'm going to zoom on this point, and finally, data visualization on the website. Considering the core question of reliability, we have implemented 3 major control actions. The first one is the evaluation of AI tools with the construction of a ground truth framework, and this test carried out on a representative media sample make it possible to automatically compare the result delivered by the AI tools in one end and those created by INA human team, resulting in a confidence rate. And for instance, the confidence rate on named entity detection process is 83%, which is quite good, but not perfect, of course. The second control action is data traceability. A team focuses on comprehensive monitoring data flows from content recording to data uploading on the DATA.INA platform. We need to guarantee completeness of the analyzed time slot and the effective AI processing. So we need to ensure that no content item slips through any crack. And the third control action is a human control. We called it relevance check. And a team checks the relevance of data, meaning accurate correspondence between the named entities automatically detected by the AI process and the reality of their mention in the original media file. And this check is carried out on all channels for monthly top 20s of detected name entities. And sometimes it's wrong, of course. AI is no magic. It has been said before, but I confirm. It also biases and irrelevance. And for instance, the composer Richard Wagner is sometimes detected as a personality when what is mentioned in the video files is a Russian Wagner militia. This is a kind of example we can have. So AI still experience quite few difficulties understanding context, but we choose not to correct detected mistakes because it would have been impossible to do so on a comprehensive level, speaking of 700,000 hours, and it would have introduced new biases, human biases this time, in the produced data. So we decided to be transparent about these errors on the website, where points of attention indicated by an orange exclamation mark on the graphs are associated with a named form a mismatch has been identified with explanation. And this triggers users' awareness regarding their interpretation of the charts and graph. So let's see the website itself. The data produced by AI is displayed through 4 key entries: personalities, women's and men's share of speaking time, spoken words, and places. And 16 simple questions suggest various entries, and the answer to each question is a data visualization model that can be customized by users. It can change time span, channels, time scale in years, months, or days. And the aim is to offer a user-friendly experience for the general public. Yes, good. So this is what this website looks like. It's only in French. The text in the screenshot are automatic machine translation by Chrome browser. Chrome. And for the question, which personality are most mentioned in a news broadcast, you can display a bar chart trace, which is a dynamic view with a top 10 people or top 20 or top 30 over a given period, and you can choose channels or focus on male or female personalities. You can display historical view with a curve for each personality, and you can obtain additional information by hovering the mouse over the curve. You can also search for a specific person who is not in the top 10. For example, here is Elisabeth Borne, a former French Prime Minister, and you can see how the curve of her name mentions correspond to the period when she was French Prime Minister and then disappear. If researching Richard Wagner, you'll find the point of attention about mismatching with the Wagner groups that I mentioned earlier, and this is the model with information you can see. Here is the distribution of speaking time between women and men on a news channel, and you can see how it evolves over time for each channel. It's not equal, as you can see. You can explore the words spoken in the media. This is, for instance, the curve of occurrences for the word COVID, and it perfectly follows the curve of the pandemic successive waves. Let's play squeeze time. Can you guess what word this curve corresponds to? ChatGPT. Almost. It's artificial intelligence, and you can see how the launch of ChatGPT of 2 minutes. Yeah, okay. No more quiz. This is a visualization of countries mentioned on TV, but I skip it. You can follow how Ukraine, for instance, is mentioned since the beginning of conflict. Each graph is accompanied by elements explaining the method for meta production and visualization, and they are available in dedicated pages. A series of infographics on the functioning of AI treatment are available to explain how data is produced. And we have also written and made available answers to most frequently asked questions. And we published our AI charter of use for this in this website. So the main goal of the project has been to offer large-scale experimentation from a set of AI tools to highlight media trends in the most transparent and educational approach. And finally, let me also point that ENA is also staffed with editorial teams and specifically data journalists who investigate and produce thorough and specific analysis from the available data, and those are published on ENA website, La Revue des Médias. Thank you for your attention.
It's really fantastic that all of this data is now open and available for everybody. So yeah, I think there will be a lot of people playing with the data over the next couple of days. So any urgent questions to Xavier? No? Super, then we move on. Our final two speakers, Rafa Bermúdez and Juan Luis Mas Albaiges. Rafa works for CCMA and Juan works for Eurecat.
CCMA or 3CAT?
Yes.
Now it's 3CAT. So it's really hard to me make a presentation at my nap time. I'm sorry. I will follow my script before say something silly. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we want to share our experience building an AI-driven video summarization tool. This project was powered by CDAI, this is why Joan is here with me, and you will know more about CDAI later. This project started with the requirements, like almost all projects, and in our case, the requirements come from two different departments and two different needs. The newsroom told us that they need a tool to create a text summary of interviews. The other way, the content department said, we need a tool to create a preview video for any content. So newsroom need text summary, the other need video, but we can blend it together and said, we want a tool for creating audiovisual summaries of news. And we made that claim and we brought that to the CDAI and they made the magic. AI is not magic, but CDAI is magic. So, let me follow. At the very high level, the workflow of the tool did that. The user select a video, the tool transcribed the video, the tool with LLM create a extractive summarization of the video, so they pick the most relevant sentences, and after that, the user review the output, the summary, and the user can tweak it, adding and removing what they want. finally, the tool creates a video with all that pieces. So we have a small video, but I think that it doesn't work. So sorry, it's in Catalan, but you don't need to understand anything. The user throw the video here, speech to text, transcribe, the tool transcribes the video. This is the transcription using Whisper. The user can select the number of sentences that they want on the summary. The LLM select the more relevant sentences. The user can tweak adding more sentences. If they need another sentence, that they put here something that they want to add, and the system will follow. Will find it on the original text. So once you have the perfect summary, you can generate the video, removing the silence if you want. Impressive, right? So this is my opinion, but what user thought? We made a user evaluation. We pick 5 different departments for this evaluation: newsroom, archivist, image, production, content department. All the users with extensive experience and a deep domain knowledge, or people with a lot of experience. And how we made that user evaluation? The user can test on the real software, on the actual software. We also show some examples of the results of the tool, some summaries. And finally, the user should fill an evaluation form with 5 criteria: functionality, simplicity, reliability, customizability, and performance. What do you think that the user thought? No. They said that simplicity is really fine. The functionality, it's okay. The performance, it was a disaster, but we need more hardware, we need more money, and this is no problem, we can afford it. But what really concerns me is that low reliability and low customizability. And let's see what happened. Let's dive deep to see what happened here. Key insight number 1, low reliability. One user, that is over there, said that we cannot be sure that it has selected the part of the content that we would have chosen editorially. Right. Totally agree. What can we do to fix that? We need that the output should always be validated by the user, the typical human in the loop. We need also, the tool should be tailored by domain experts to ensure that the editorial criteria are well defined and aligned with the style guide. If you remember, it was the LLM who picked the more relevant. We didn't say nothing. And the other need that we have is that the user should be able to define where they want to focus in order to achieve an output closer to what is expected. We are generating summaries, but we are human. We have a lot of nuances. We have a lot of different criteria, so we need to let the user choose what is relevant here. Another key insight. We have to pay attention to the details. A user from image department said, we would like the image to be taken into account in the transcription with a description of the shots. And another user from the content department said, we would like to be able to add metadata to the videos that should be taken into account when creating the summary. If you remember, the LLM only takes the text. We need more. We need more information to make a good summary. And what is the insight here? The human communication, as you know, is nuanced. We need multimedia information, multimodal information, sorry, and should always allow the user to add more subtle details. If there are a shot that it has a long silence, but it's really relevant for the summary, we need the user to put that metadata on the video. Another key insight, the human AI interaction. We should improve that. And user from the content department said, we would like to visualize the video in a timeline. And another user from the production department said, we would like to load the summary into a video editing program to create the final product. What's the problem here? We need to improve human AI interaction to enable a seamless experience. Please, don't create more tools. We need to add AI on the current workflows. So don't forget that. And despite all of this, they want it down. They want it now. The image department said, well, I think that the first one is the newsroom. The newsroom said it can be useful as a transcription tool and for generating summary proposals. Cool. The image department said, we see it as a very useful tool for preliminary editing by a human. We know it. The human should review it. The archivist department said it could be useful for editing long historical interviews that we cannot work on manually. Am I right? What's it? And the content department said it could be a tool that allows us to create video previews. And what is the insight here? The insight is that all departments want to incorporate part of the project either in full or in part to their current workflow. They want it now. We don't have to wait for anything. And the final one, it's for you, Rafa Bermúdez, is me. It wouldn't have been possible without the help of CDI. So if you have a great partner, the project will be very successful. So find a great partner to explore the world of AI. Please, Joan, your turn.
I have 5 minutes. I'll try to be very, very, very fast. Thank you for your words. Let me take these 5 minutes to explain you what is the CDI and to put a little bit in context what are we doing here in Catalonia in order to promote innovation on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is absolutely transversal. We are now focusing on archiving and things like that. But as you can see, artificial intelligence is, affecting and impacting all sectors of verticals, all type of activities at society, at businesses, etc. So what is CDI? CDI actually has to do with the strategy on artificial intelligence that was starting to be crafted by the Catalan government around 2018, 2019, these 2 years of time, and that was, officially kicked off in 2020. And the CDI is the element of this strategy that takes care or implements the axis about innovation. So let's bring really, with real examples, as the one that we have seen 5 minutes ago, what artificial intelligence can do in order to solve real challenges presented by whoever here in Catalonia. And that is the objective of this CDI. CDI actually is not an organization, it's not a company. Basically, it's a kind of public-private association, which includes the Catalan government, the municipality of Barcelona as a kind of institutional representation. Also includes companies. You can see here Huawei, Microsoft. Those are companies that are located, or they have operations here in Catalonia, and they want to participate on the processes and activities that we are pushing from the CDI. And very importantly, it comprises as well research and technology organizations. You can see here BSC, the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, other centers here in Catalonia, and Eurecat, which is actually my company, my research and technology center, the most important RTO here in Catalonia, that has the mandate to push and to dynamize the activities of CDI. And then we have members, we usually are institutions or companies in the demand side. You can see here 3CAT, and this is why the project took place. And basically, what we are doing from SIDAI is try, as I said, to push innovation by doing real things. We have done, well, we started to operate in 2020, which was a kind of transition year, and we started actually in 2021. Since then, we have performed many different projects. I'm not going to go into the details, covering different areas, health, mobility, tourism, etc. This year, 2023, finalizing in 2024, we performed the project with 3CAT. This year, we are still performing this type of projects. And the idea about this type of projects is that we will have a sponsor, 3CAT as a very good example, but the actual implementation of the solutions that you've seen here, it's not done by the sponsor itself, but it's done by the members, the research and technology organizations that I was mentioning before. And the idea as well is that all the results, everything that is produced in the frame of SIDAI is made available publicly. So we present the results of every project in specific public sessions, open to everyone. And I think it's a good way to really implement innovation and really show that artificial intelligence, the good use of artificial intelligence, is in general good for the society, for the companies, for the business, and for the country in general. We also do other things apart from these impact projects. We try to analyze the situation of the artificial intelligence in different verticals here in Catalonia through the elaboration of white papers in different matters. There was one on in ICC, so industry, creative and cultural-driven industries that we performed a couple of years ago. And we do a lot of activities to promote artificial intelligence cross technology. For instance, we have done some activities to see how artificial intelligence and quantum computing, can merge and the result of those things is real projects. So we put we connect the actors of this type of technologies, and those actors get to know each other and have, for instance, generated new projects, European projects, Horizon projects that are funded by Spanish resources. But the good thing is that the ecosystem is thriving. And we do as well, and this is connected with some of the things that were mentioned before, one of the elements of the Catalonia AI strategy is this project DATA.INA, which tries to bring or to build an LLM model focused on Catalan. This is it was entrusted to the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. The idea is that let's try to put the tools so that the Catalan language, which is present in the digital sphere, also can take advantage on all those things about generative AI, etc., and can be even further present. We performed a couple of, we actually did a hackathon 1 month ago, which was very successful. The idea was to bring projects that would, meet challenges by the Catalan government in order to use or make easier and more ready the use of the Catalan language in administrative process and so on. And we do as well a lot of dissemination with master classes, etc. And we have one event 1 year, what we call the AI and Big Data Congress, which is quite a renowned event here in Barcelona. We celebrated the 10th edition last October, and usually we have a lot of attendance, a lot of media attention as well. It was, explained some of the ideas and projects that were presented in the project were even presented by 3CAT, by TV3 here in Catalonia. And that's it. We keep collaborating with 3CAT. We are very happy to work together, and I think that still we have the possibility to do much better things. Just one thing. Just keep in mind one point. The project that you were presenting, Rafa, was actually a proof of concept. Indeed, we have limited resources. We can do things up to a certain level. but for sure that we will take advantage of all the add-ons and points that were highlighted by your colleagues in order to improve the things. And actually we have a kind of a strategy to do this in the near future. Thank you very much.
Okay, almost coffee break. But we would like to close this panel with a discussion. So for one first prompt that I would like to raise to all the speakers is that we've been looking at quite a few of advanced projects, and this is really like the state of the art. And I'm also very happy to see that in all of your work, you've been looking at the responsible side. For instance, how at DATA.INA evaluation of these systems plays a major role. So I've had the sense that as a community, we are understanding much more and more how to use this technology in a transparent and responsible way. But I can imagine that if you are let's say more new to this field, you would like to you want to engage in using artificial intelligence in your work, where to start? So my first question to each of the panelists would be, what would your advice be to people in the audience that are, going back to their offices later this week and say, okay, I found this super interesting idea from this event, and I would like to, to implement. What would be your one or two advices to those people?
Yeah, I can take this.
Yeah, we can just go from left to right.
There's a nice white paper you suggested at the opening. I think that's that's a must. You have to read. It is entitled "The Media Sector on its AI Journey." I can see some of the authors here, so I think it's a good idea to start reading this paper. And I will also say that you need to look around and learn from others. But it is also nice that you identify your own goals in terms of AI before you start this project. And of course, you need to find some support in your organization, because only with friends it is possible. So maybe the innovation department, the IT department, that would be my main advice.
Yeah, fantastic. So I see everybody taking notes, so that's good.
I would say the same, that any kind of project, I would say that don't forget the goal. Do not anything for the technological sake. Focus on the business metrics. Start small, ship fast, measure, and choose a good partner as TDI.
Okay. Look, we have, as CDI, but also as Eurecat, as this research and technology organization where I am working actually, we have quite a lot of experience on dealing with especially SMEs. I don't know if you come from SMEs or public institutions. I don't know what is your precedence, but I can share with you some of our experience. And in my opinion, one very important thing is try to set the expectations. So people sometimes, and I think that this kind of idea was already mentioned before, thinks that AI maybe is magic, and indeed it is not. So you have to, in my opinion, really from the very beginning set up the expectations. What can you do and what you won't be able to do with artificial intelligence, at least with the means and resources that we have today. And then there is probably something aligned with this guideline that you were mentioning before. For instance, in CDI, we have produced a kind of auto-evaluation form where you can go through kind of questions which are directing the essential points in order to measure whether your organization is ready to start with at least a project or a proof of concept that uses artificial intelligence as the driving technology. That could be an advice. There is this auto-evaluation form. I'm sure there are many others, probably coming from different organizations. and that could be a good start. Not the only one, but probably a good one.
Well, for me, I have a more practical approach, let's say. So, I mean, you all talk about define your goal. For me, it's not necessarily about defining your goal, but more define the problem space you are in, and, you know, defining the problem that you would like to try to solve, and maybe choose a problem that you have already worked on in the past. So, you know, whether it's a problem with your data, something that you have tried to go around using maybe more traditional technique, to find something that you know already a lot, because maybe you already know where you can find some data sets you would be using for training the model, etc. So yeah, for me it's more thinking about the problem you would like to solve, and pick maybe something you know already, and experiment, start small scale, and also to, through the evaluation of the result, to also not let yourself too much guided by the problem space you had at the beginning, and maybe the idea you had about potential solution, because maybe through the exercise you will discover that what you have built can be used for something different than what you had in mind in the first place. So in my context, quite often we wanted to build a solution to a problem, and in fact we realized we had come up with something pretty good to detect the problem. So it was already the first step, you know, yeah, we can detect problem, report on it, give reports to institutions to help flagging problem, and that is already something that is pretty good. But in terms of implementation, then it's something, it goes a bit in a different way. It's more about reporting, informing, not necessarily fixing, which we all have in mind, you know, let's fix the problem. So yeah, so I would say let's not yourself driven by the preconceived idea you had at the beginning, because in fact there might be some nice solution that you will find along the way.
Thank you. Xavier, you have something to share?
I won't add anything after such a clever response.
So we have a few more minutes. I'm opening it up to the audience. Take advantage of all the knowledge in the panel. So who has a question, reflection? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I have a great interest in sustainability and ecology, and actually I did a collaboration with the university with innovation. Excuse me. I train in UCLA with design psychology and in interior design, and now I have a methodology to create innovation, which doesn't come from design thinking. It comes from doing a deep understanding of the project and coming across with contradictions. And then I use contradictions to create innovation. This I did the collaboration with the School of Occupational Therapy, and we did a pilot, and I have 70 hours of professional footage, but I never did the documentary, and I'm looking for doing a series of documentary series about this work that we did with senior people. And I use gamification, so it's all like a kindergarten. It was really, really successful, but I'm having a problem with that the audiovisual production companies, they wanted to shoot it new. And I'm really interested in sustainability and using all these hours that are really beautiful and really well done. And I want to use AI to create this documentary, and also to be like tutorials so people also can participate from their retirement homes or their homes. So am I in the right place? I really enjoyed it this morning so far, but and I want to be here for today and tomorrow. So thank you so much for giving me. I wrote to some of you with a description of this. Some of you I couldn't find you, but that easy. But I'm really interested if anyone can contribute. Honestly, for me, I think the senior people is something that it's very important subject in the future and already now. and I think the impact of having fun and creating this sustainability for senior people, for themselves, it's going to be a contribution to society and to themselves. So I like to have your opinion, if possible, and some of you, I'm already going to approach you, but if you have any insights, I will appreciate very much. Thank you.
So building a bit on the previous question, environmental issues, environmental questions and sustainability, how do you approach these when thinking about engaging in simply using AI in your actions? Are you able to evaluate them already? Is there enough data? So this is one of the factors I think that would be good to analyze. So.
Okay. There's never enough data. That's at RTV, what we are doing is that we are trying to avoid training from scratch. We work with pre-trained models, and we also pick one like a key shot to run our algorithms. So we are like reducing computational costs. This is the way we are approaching this kind of projects, like reducing computational cost and using pre-trained model, and only training our own models when there's no other option. So this is the way we approach this.
Are you using cloud, or are you making all the on-premises?
No, we are using the cloud, of course. Yeah.
For us, we are on premises, so we have evaluate our data server and AI computer consumption, and it is equal to less than 100 people electricity consumption. But it is very important to keep in mind that all AI doesn't consume the same energy, and of course generative AI is particularly consuming sometimes at a scale of 10 or 100 times the consumption of some specific AIs that can do the same work. If your task is very precise, you should not use generative AI, in my point of view.
So one last quick remark, and then we are ready to stroll outside.
Yeah, on this, I think that sustainability and artificial intelligence is a kind of paradox. On the one side, artificial intelligence is used to, optimize or improve or reduce the costs, the energy costs. But on the other side, it consumes a lot of energy, a lot of water for, refrigerating the data processors, etc. If we look at it in overall, the digital technologies, if we look, the overall consumption is it's not very much. It's 2, 3, 4% maybe. It's supposed that it will go to 6% or 9% in a few years' time, with respect to the overall consumption of all the activities that we are doing on this planet. Nevertheless, we have to keep attention on this, indeed, because there are costs, economical costs, but also very important environmental costs. Technicians are working on this. For instance, most now SMEs are somehow being very much focused in substitution to LLMs, getting models which are more specific to the problem that you want to solve. There is technical things. There is now this one-bit LLM type of technologies which will reduce quite a lot, substantially, the amount of computational burden that you have with traditional LLMs. So my message is sustainability is a very important issue, and from the scientific and technological point of view, there are many avenues that will try to improve this matter with regards to AI computation.
Yeah, maybe the last point, and maybe also to appeal to your comment. So maybe thinking about sustainability for AI is also understanding that we are generating also new cultural heritage, in the sense that as we are generating those new data sets, and maybe that's the way we could see all this documentary you have gathered now. Maybe you should register it as a potential data set that could be used to create something else on the topic that you are working on. So maybe also to think about it this way, that now we are also generating new knowledge that we will also have to preserve in a certain way. So yeah, to think also about what it creates in terms of expectation, and also the additional requirements in terms of documentation of those sets, documenting the tools that they were used with, etc. So maybe, I don't know, today and tomorrow there might be other elements that also go around this.
Fantastic. So this is all we have time for, but in half an hour we will be back, and Maya will be chairing the next session related to AI and copyright. So enjoy the half-hour break, grab a coffee, take a little walk, and see you back in half an hour. And thanks again for the exciting panelists.